Hey everyone, it's your buddy and pal, Karnik, Serenity Wargaming and Explanations. Not doing an Armada video today. Today I'm just doing a cheers and happy New Year's to as we enter in a brand new year and look forward to hopefully some exciting changes with the future. And I'm excited for 2023 and what that's going to bring. I'm just doing a video today on talking about SWAE and what are some things that are going to be happening with SWAE. So a lot of this, it sucks. It's like I want to talk about cool stuff, but also like I still have to be a little cagey and I can't reveal everything I would like to. But it's been a little bit since I've done a little channel update. And ever since coming back, I've been really so appreciative of everyone when I took that bit of a hiatus and coming back and starting to do videos again. Lots of people have been giving comments of support, let me know, hey, we're so happy to see you doing videos again. And I am very happy to be doing videos again as well. There's just a period of time where that just didn't seem like I could do, and I've decided, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and start doing it again. So, for what are we looking forward for 2023? There's a couple things I want to touch on. First of all, for SWAE, in terms of like my business, the Other World Events LLC. I've been getting a bit of work for that already scheduled into next year, which is super exciting. If you didn't know, I am helping on the Adepticon side of things for planning for Star Wars Armada. I actually kind of got jumped up a little bit in helping out with Adepticon on like the volunteer side of things, and I'm also got up jumped a bit helping out with helping to organize and put things together for Adepticon. For Adepticon, if you didn't know, that is where Worlds is going to be for Armada, Legion, and X-Wing, and that is going to be March. Oh gosh, they usually have the dates listed on here. 80 days until registration is going to open up on January 8th. That is where you're going to see tickets go up for all of the events. I know right now, if you look at the Adepticon's event schedule, you only see just the last chance qualifiers. I can't reveal any information. Just know that we are working as quickly as we can to have everything ready so that when January 8th rolls around, you'll be able to see the schedules, you'll be able to see everything, sign up, and understand and know what all is going on. I can't make any promises. I'm not speaking for anyone. There's no guarantees. I'm just saying, just know that we're working really hard, and that is the expectation that we're trying to achieve. I know that there are some numbers on here for the last chance qualifier. Some people have concerns about, are some of these events too small, etc. Just know that again, like these are just preliminary looks. You won't see anything quote unquote finalized until January 8th. So that's when you'll see like any last minute changes or adjustments. I really don't believe these are the finalized numbers. I think they just had to put a number, and that was the number they put up there. So for anyone, for any of these three games wanting to come to Worlds, if you have the expectation of wanting to have a Worlds experience, highly encourage you to come have a Worlds experience. Just because, this we've been waiting a long time to have a Worlds, and it's going to be a big one for AMG. If you were there prior years, we've been in that exploration hall. That whole hall is going to be entirely AMG focused. Again, I can't say more about what else is there or not there, or what's going on or not going on. I'm only in charge of just making sure tournaments are getting run. I'm not authorized to talk about much else beyond that, but just know that there are going to be activities and events, and I think that people, I hope, will be excited for what is going to be available. And that's all I can say until things are released, and I'll do an update video that then goes over all the events and ideas and plans for what I am able to speak on. But just know that I am making sure that any concerns are being heard. We're making sure we're being very open and communicative, and making sure that the community's voice is being heard to the best of the ability that I'm able to present that information. Okay, so Adepticon, yeah, make sure it's March 22nd through the 26th, although technically the first day is the 23rd. There will be events, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and on Sunday. So if you're wanting to come for the whole thing, and even if you don't get a chance to get into Worlds, there's other tournaments you can do. There's tons of other games at Adepticon if you're not wanting to do just Armada. So there's just lots to do. So that's Adepticon. Super excited for that. Some other events I'm working on, hopefully throughout the rest of the year, is of course continuing to work with STL, or the guys that did the Montreal event, the St. Lawrence Open. They're wanting to do more prospects and things in the future. No information other than that. I know that they're working really hard on that. For myself, I continue to pound the pavement locally to get local work and things of that nature. For SWAE and for other opportunities, during Christmas, and you might even have been looking behind me here and seeing this, I got a 3D printer. I got a resin 3D printer because there was a really good deal. I've been eyeing one for some time because for myself personally, I've been wanting a resin 3D printer for reasons. And these are reasons that I'm not comfortable going into until later. Maybe not even until after Adepticon, I might feel a little bit comfortable maybe talking about what it is that I'm working on. Just know that I'm working on something for myself, personal project, nothing related with any company. It's not related with AMG or anything like that. It's a personal project for myself. So hopefully at some point I'll feel comfortable talking about that. But the 3D printer, again, part of the reason why I got into it, I got myself a Saturn II. So the Saturn II is a 8K monoscreen LCD. If you don't know anything about 3D printing, that's okay. I didn't either until I started doing a lot of research into it. But the biggest reason why I got this model, one, it's on sale. Two, you can even apply additional discount codes to even discount that even more. And the 8K resolution for these 3D printers for the resin is just phenomenal. This machine only came out like 6 months ago, and the reviews and everything on it has been fantastic. And I was just really excited to have such a high quality machine. And again, I've been experimenting. I've been getting everything set up so that I can, ventilation. Working with resin, you have to be really careful. Resin is extremely poisonous just touching it. They even recommend, don't necessarily inhale fumes or anything like that. You can do like a little bit, but they're like, you don't want to stand there and huff it all day. But especially like the don't touch it, like get it on your skin. It's very, very toxic. But as long as you're wearing all the appropriate equipment, doing everything you're supposed to do, it's no big deal. But I'm excited to work with this. I'm looking to do prototyping on models and getting into that. And the resin, so Elegoo resin is really good. It's also just a bit expensive. So actually, again, doing research and other things, I've been getting a lot of the SUNLU resin because they have a very, very tough, what's called nylon-like resin, which makes the resin not as brittle. And if you combine that with another type of resin that's called tenacious or something like that, it just makes a really, really good resin that is, most resin pieces you 3D print yourself, you drop them and they shatter into thousands of pieces or whatever, and they're just not so great. But I've been doing a lot of research and getting good resin. I've been experimenting with different resin mixes to try to find something that is, you know, good for what I'm trying to accomplish, which is, models and things of that nature, getting good models without having to spend so much because the good stuff, the SUNLU, the nylon like stuff, it's like $50 a bottle, but right now you can apply all these discount codes and get it for $30 a bottle. So I've just been like, I ordered like a ton. I've ordered I think like $600 or $700 worth of resin, which is, anyone who does 3D printing with resin is like, that's a lot of resin. And it's like, yeah, I plan to use it. I plan to have some ideas and plans for that. And again, can't talk about it right now. I'm not ready to, but just that I'm ramping up to explore and check things out. So for the Elegoo, the resin 3D printer, and for the SUNLU products, I will have linked below. They are affiliate links, so if you are interested in buying stuff or buying resin, it gives you essentially discount codes. These do lead into, again, full disclosure, these do lead into affiliation links where I can get a small bit of a kickback. By no means am I telling you like run out and buy 3D printing because you really got to have a mindset for it because it's been a lot of research and work to even get to the point where I even felt comfortable printing my first model and testing my first models. But Elegoo, I mean, they're really known for great resin 3D printers. In terms of like pricing, you come in here and you look at their pricing for their 3D printers. Like I said, everything is discounted right now. I really recommend the Saturns. I feel like that, unless you, I mean, the Jupiter is their biggest case. I'm not going to tell anyone to buy a $1,300. I mean, this thing is massive. I mean, I don't even know how it would fit in anywhere in my office or anything. The Neptunes are great, but again, I really like the Saturns. The Saturn 2, the reason why the Saturn 8K and the Saturn 2 8K, they're like, oh, it's like they're both 8K, why one or the other? It's like, well, if you spend like $60 more, you get a greater volume with the Saturn 2 compared to a regular Saturn. But even if you get a Saturn S or the 4K Saturns, like those are great machines too. Like it was just really cool to like print like my first like D&D miniature and be like, I made this. Like this is mine. I didn't have to go buy it. I made it myself. I mean, yeah, you had to buy all the materials and everything, but it was just, it's really exciting getting into something new and learning about it for me, I like learning new things and perfecting new things. But again, I'll have affiliate links if it's one of those things you're interested in, or even if you already do have your 3D printers and you're looking for resin or filament. Because there's two different types of 3D printed, and I didn't know this, is that there's the filament type, which is the nozzle that comes down and it builds up. And then there's the resin 3D printing, which is it dips into the goo and then the platform raises and then it lasers on the material. And they both have their pros and cons. It just really is depending on what you're looking for. I went with resin personally because resin gives you that that level of detail that filament just can't. Filament is great for like terrain pieces or like if you're doing like big bulky things because there's more build space. Resin, it's just if you're looking for just super detailed models, like you're gonna get that with resin, and that was the biggest reason why I jumped into it. Anyway, that's 3D printing. I'm excited to get into 3D printing. I'm excited to talk about what it is that I'm hoping to accomplish. And again, I probably won't get to the point where I can talk about it until after Adepticon. And yeah, it's so exciting. It's just really hard for me to not just blurb out everything that I'm hoping to accomplish. It's just, again, I'm just not, I don't want to hype it too much too soon. I actually want to have something I can show and tell, right? That's the best way to do this kind of stuff. But anyway, 3D printing, super excited for that. Super excited for Adepticon. What else is going on with SWAE? I talked about with events and things like that. Oh, one thing I could talk about is for myself personally. For the first time ever in my life, I am taking a true vacation. I'm actually traveling out of the country. I'm going to New Zealand for an entire month later this year, sometime in June probably. And it's my first, I mean, I've been to Canada, I've traveled across America, and I've taken vacations, but typically they would be like vacations for hobbies where I'm going to like airsofting or live action role play, or again if I'm going to conventions. Even those these are like quote unquote vacations. You're sticking to a schedule, you're running around, you're doing tournaments, you're doing all these other things, and it never was really a break. And so I'm taking my first real vacation to an entirely different country where it's a month of me just doing whatever I want. And I just feel so like I've spent my whole life working. All I do is work, and it's just like I need to do something for myself, you know. And I'm happy I have the ability to do that. Not everyone has the ability to do that. So I'm happy I have a chance, after working for, like I said, most of my adult life, during the last recession, I was working 2 to 3 jobs just to make ends meet. And so to finally be at a point, in my super late 30s now, actually be able to take a quote unquote vacation and travel. And I know I have lots of friends that like don't have any money and they travel, they manage somehow. I don't know how. It seems expensive to me. I don't know how, like, even like adding up everything I've spent so far just to get ready for this trip. It's like, oh man, it's like I feel like I've already spent way more than I want. It's like, you know what? I deserve it. I've earned it. I deserve to go and do a trip for something for myself and to reveal a little bit about myself. It's like, oh, why New Zealand? Well, again, Lord of the Rings nerd. The country is beautiful. They speak English. Won't lie. That will be that will be nice. The people are friendly. And I'm also, again, revealing information about myself. I am a K-pop fan. I like K-pop. Blackpink is my favorite girl K-pop group, and they're ending their world tour in Auckland, New Zealand. So I'm like, ah, two birds, one stone. I'll go to New Zealand, I'll crash around, have a great time, go to a Blackpink concert. I don't really go to concerts. I've never have ever felt like I've ever wanted to go to a concert, and it's like that isn't. If I want to listen to the music, I got their CD already. I'll just listen to it, or YouTube or whatever. But I actually have heard that their concerts are actually pretty great, and so I'm excited to actually just go to a K-pop concert in another country. So it's interesting. I like all sorts of things. So I'm excited for it. Trying new things, different things. This adventure that I've started my life since essentially quitting my job in August. I still go back in, a few times a month just to help out because my boss was like, "Can you please still just come in and take care of your some of my longtime customers I've been cleaning for like over a decade for?" And they're like, "We don't want anyone else. We want this guy." So he's like, "Can you please just come in and just take care of the occasional customers that just don't want anyone else?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can come in. I can come in and do that. That way, it helps pay a little bit for my food, gas, while I continue to pound pavement with the event coordination job. The event coordination stuff, it's like, yeah, it's when you have the work, you're very busy, but that's not like, it's typically you're months out before you actually are getting payment and you're getting, that job done and collecting, revenue. So it's like I'm always just trying to find more local work. And I think maybe with the 3D printing, I'm going to try to go around to maybe a couple of the local shops or stores and see if they're interested or if they're even able to accept like 3D prints, like they try to sell some stuff. I know I'm not planning to be a 3D printing business. That's way too much work, and that's a lot of effort. I don't mind making some models and having some models up occasionally, and if those sell, then great. Print some more off, put those up because I do eventually want to try to like earn back the revenue from buying. I've spent over $2,000 buying the printer, all the extra equipment that you need, all of the gear. I mean, the resin. Like I said, I think I've spent like 600 at least dollars on resin. I have like 30 bottles of resin. We're talking like the 1,000 milliliter bottles, like the big bottles of resin. And some people are like, you bought way too much. Like that stuff only lasts for like a year or two. And it's like, yeah, I know. I, I'm well aware of the time frame to use the resin. Trust me. But it was such a great deal on the resin when you can get the super good stuff that's normally $50 a bottle. You can get it for 30 a bottle. It's like, oh, so if I buy 15, that's like buy three, get two free, and it's free shipping. So it's like, I don't know if the deal is going to be this good again moving into 2023. I'd rather buy now and have bought a little bit too much than not have bought enough and not be ready. So yeah, I hope this has been a little bit of insight and things going on. I know some people ask me about Armada. They ask me, what is the future of Armada? Is there any new product? What else is coming out? What else is going on with Armada? What can you tell us? And there's nothing. There's nothing I can say. There's nothing I can talk about. And that's just, I really can't touch on any of that per, discussions and conversations I've had with Atomic Mass Games. So it's unfortunate that I really can't like, you know, speak my mind, but that's also just the industry and the business, and I respect that. It is Atomic Mass Games game, and they can deal with it however they prefer. For Armada, it's a great game, and I love it a lot, and I want to continue to help ensure that events are run good that involve Armada. I don't know where the future of Armada will be in a year, 2 years. My hope is that, yeah, new product, new plans, new ideas. I am so excited. The Suma of all things was so well received. I have had tons and tons of messages from other content creators who have said that they've done videos on Suma and they get tons of comments. And I've heard and have gotten lots of feedback about how much people enjoy the Suma of all things. And it's not without criticism. There definitely there's valid points of criticism about it. And like, well, it's kind of like it seems like the gameplay's like this, but this doesn't seem. It's like, yeah, I get some of the criticism for it. It's not for everyone. I think I've always have said that. in the year leading up to its release. It's like the Sum of all things is not going to be for everyone. I've always said that. It's not a gameplay mode for ultra competitives. It largely was focused on a part of from talking from my perspective, not speaking for Atomic Mass Games. From my perspective, I really wanted to focus on something that I knew was for casual players or for just trying to introduce players to Armada that was just not standard gameplay, just something different, unique, a way to play the game that is vastly out of step from what typically how you play Armada. And yeah, for like new people, if you introduce them to the Sum of all things and they don't understand how that's different than regular play, again, the whole point is like, look, you get Star Wars spaceships and you smash them together. Okay, do you actually want to play like the bigger game mode now? That's kind of how I've been trying to tell people, like, don't introduce Suma as like this is how Armada is played. Rather be like, this is quack, fast, quack games, and it's just an introduction to Star Wars stuff so that you can get them hopefully hooked into wanting to play more Star Wars Armada. So I don't know. I was at a really a few months ago. I was just dealing with a lot of personal life drama, family drama, and luckily it's all came out for the better on almost all of it. Yeah, but at the time I was just really in just a low point, and then when the Sumo kit released, it's like I didn't hear anything about it from anyone. It didn't seem like anyone even knew it existed. But then I got a whole bunch of comments about it, and it just really helped brighten my day. And know that despite all these other things going on in my life, that like I made something that people were happy with and excited about and loved playing, and I'm just glad that it was so well received. So thank you for your comments and the feedback. And again, even the criticism I've gotten was valid criticism, constructive criticism. No, like, you're stupid. This game mode is stupid. The game mode is like, I haven't gotten any comments like that. It's valid criticism, like, oh, like, you did it this way, but maybe you could have tried it this way. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, that's a really great suggestion. Maybe we could have considered that. I can't talk about development or anything like that, right? I can't say about the process of how the Suma kit came to be. Any really good observers, if they think back a few years, like, wait a minute, this seems awfully familiar to that Nerf Herder game Derek was playing at some of these tournaments. And yeah, you'd be absolutely right to think that. I can't go into any more detail than that, other than just like, yeah, Nerf Herder. There's a lot of similarities between Nerf Herder and the Sumo of all things, for sure. Um, it was really fun. I had a great time with Michael Plumer helping develop that product. By the way, Plumer, really great guy, and for those that really, it's Atomic Mass Games is very, I don't want to say secretive, but just they're very reserved. They really don't like talking about who's hired, who's on staff. I mean, I still don't even know where their offices are. I mean, I have a really good idea, but I don't even know where their main offices are located at. They're very keep to themselves. And again, that's their prerogative, that's their decision. I think they're trying to avoid some of the past concerns that's been had with FFG, and some staff members talking about things maybe they weren't ready to talk about or reveal or whatever. And personal opinion is I am always on the side of talk to your communities and be open with your communities. But I also get that fact of like, you know, when you have interactions like that, sometimes those interactions can go poorly. I don't know. I just would rather talk to people and not say things rather than not talk to people at all. I like being way more open with communities. And I'm not saying that Atomic Mass Games hasn't, they've got their Twitter, they've got their Facebook, but a lot of their posts do seem heavily favored on just some of their games compared. I mean, I'll just come out and say it, compared to Armada. So I mean, my heart will always be with Armada, but I'm excited to see how the player base for Legion, all the changes that they're upcoming for Legion. I'm excited to see the feedback from that. I know X-wing was really, it was like really derivative. Either was you were for it or you weren't. MCP, it seems like they don't even really. I know they just came out with some new models, but it seems like MCP even really doesn't get as much attention as it used to. And of course, Shatterpoint is going to be huge. Shatterpoint is going to be really, really big. Um, I've had people ask me, it's like, is Shatterpoint? What's going on with that? I'm like, I'm not involved in that. I have there's nothing I can tell you. Please don't ask me. I know nothing about Shatterpoint. Shatterpoint is not a game for me. I'm not interested in Shatterpoint in at all. I've never was interested really in MCP. Like I was like, oh, that kind of looks fun, but it's like, I'm not really interested in games like that. That's not kind of like really where my interests lie. So I have no idea about any of it. But yeah, that's I think I've gone on long enough. I don't have a long record, 25 minutes. I think I've yacked more than long enough for most people's attention spans. So thanks for tuning in to my little quick chat, and drinking my whiskey here. And you guys enjoy the new year. I'll see you in 2023. And again, I have exciting new things coming up that I hope to talk about, and we'll just have to wait and see what that looks like. Be excited. Okay, you guys are great. I'll catch you next time.